I have a daughter who 6 years old, just turned 6, and well, I mean, let me tell you something. That kid is 6 going on 7, if you know what I mean. You know, I mean, she's not special, is what I'm saying. She's not. I mean, she's special to me, of course, but I mean, she hasn't demonstrated any like advanced logical thinking skills or artistic creativity or anything like that at all. I mean, she hasn't. You know, if you saw her and you'd be like, how old is she? And I said 6. You'd go, that sounds about right. But just turned 6, yeah? Okay. Whew. I was going to say, otherwise her verbal skills are a little on the lower side, yeah. And I've learned so much about from being a dad. It's all new to me, and you know, and I'm an old dad. You know, I'd say older, but that seems to be sugarcoating the reality. I'm old. I'm an old dad, and there are truly so many awful things about having a child, but there are. But one of the worst is I now have to engage in small talk and chit chat that I never would ever give the time of day to. You know, like, and you have to do it all the time. And like before I had a kid, you know, if I was hanging out at the playground and. No, but if I was at the park or something, and before I had a kid, and then some guy would, you know, referencing a bunch of noisy kids, some guy would be like engage me and go like, "Oh man, boy, they're a handful, huh?" Like before I had a kid, my response would be, "What the fuck?" And I'd walk away, and I'd be correct to do so. That'd be the right thing to do. But now I have to engage with that person because, you know, that's a potential play date. And you have to have as many potential play dates in your back pocket as possible because it is inevitable that at some point my wife will be out of town and I will wake up still, I mean, not even hungover, just drunk. I'll be drunk. I will, you know, clinically be drunk. And I'm gonna have to put that kid somewhere for an hour just to take a shit, you know? And so I have to talk to that person now and I have to, you know, be nice and all that. And the thing is, you know, I live in Brooklyn, all right? So there's just tons of younger hipster parents, tons, and I can't stand them, and I didn't like them when I was part of that scene, and you know, and I really don't like it. So I'll be at the playground, you know, with my daughter, and this guy will roll up, and this guy, you know, they're like the kind of guy who's got the those bright orange like longshoreman hat, knit woolly hats, but then they roll it all the way up. You know what I mean? Like they roll it that's too rolled up. It's not even over your ears. It's not doing the one single thing a hat is fucking made for. You're not, and you're bald. And so now it's just like a pasty for your head. I don't understand. And so like a guy with that hat and then, you know, one of those like, you know, 23 skidoo mustaches and like a full sleeve of like, you know, retro toasters or some shit like that. And then a skirt and culottes and a big whetstone, an oily, glistening whetstone that's like dangling off a sheath, right? This thing, and you're like, what the, what, who, when, how, why, you know? Oh, the whetstone, oh, yes. Oh, yes, well, I just got back from crafting. Me and the gang get together and we'll craft, and I'm making, I make bespoke, handcrafted, artisanal, farm-to-table marbles. And well, here's the thing. So the gang and I will get together, we'll craft, and we'll make you know, knives from Mumbly Peg and jacks and we get to, because I think we've lost the connection, the joy that we had as youth. I think we've gotten so cynical in the last 4 or 5 years, with with COVID and he who shall not be named. And so we play the games of our youth. Well, not our youth, but the youth of our fathers' games, which are, and it's harkened back to a simpler, innocent time. And so that's, and right now I'm working on an ethically sourced paddle ball that I think is going to be. Anyway, that asshole will come up to me, and I'll be at the playground with my daughter, and I'll be minding my own business, and that guy will come up going, "Oh, man, boy, they're a handful, huh?" Yeah. Can be. Yeah. Which one's yours? The girl on the monkey bars there. Oh, she's playing with my boy. That's my boy. That's Copernicus. Yeah. Good kid. That kid is something else, man, let me tell you. That kid is 6 going on 30. You know what I mean? No, I don't. How? In what way? Name one way. Does he have heart disease? I mean... And one of the things that I learned is when you have a kid, you really are forced to confront and do something about your bad habits and your bad traits, and really do something. Like it's not like, when you get married and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna be a better person and I'm gonna learn how to do this and I'm gonna express myself. And a month later, you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm married. It's all done. But no, with a kid, you got to, because you don't want to put those things onto your kid. So you have to be proactive about it. And one of the worst things about me, I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of issues, and I do a lot of bad habits, and I'm so sorry. That sounds like terrible news. All right. But one of the worst traits, one of the worst things about me is I am really, really judgmental. Like, severely, and I have been since I was young. I'm just an asshole. I really am. I'm just like, and I've always justified it by going, well, I'm right. But you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So I'm just an asshole in here all the time. Like at the airport, it's just nonstop in here. As I'm walking around at the airport, just like in here, it's nonstop. What's this asshole on about? Who's this bitch think she's fooling? Put on some fucking clothes. Put on some different clothes. That's not a service animal. It's not a service animal. A fucking bunny rabbit isn't a goddamn service animal. And, but to give you an example of what a piece of shit I am, this is 100% true. I was in Brooklyn. I was walking down the street. I was going to do a set to get ready to go out on tour. And I'm walking down the street, and we have those COVID outdoor dining shed things. And I'm walking down, and there's this older couple, pretty old. And the gentleman was standing up, and he had his hand extended to his partner, and he helped her up, and it just started to rain, and he took an umbrella, opened it up, put it over her, just her, not trying to squeeze himself in there. And they are just beaming at each other, the biggest smiles ever. And I saw this, and in my head, I saw this, and I thought, oh, that's so nice. That's so nice that they found each other. And then I thought, found each other? Why'd I add that to it? And then I answered myself immediately with, oh, it's because they're both ugly. I'm looking at pure love. Pure love. And my fucking shitty take on this is, oh, good for you, you ugly fucks. That's nice. That's nice that you found each other. Because if you had, nobody else would ever have you, so, you know, otherwise you would have, you know, died alone with a cat eating your corpse or something. If you had walked past me on the street, this is what you would have seen. You would have seen this. You would have seen a guy going like this, like. And now you know. I do want to say that they really were ugly. I mean, like it was remarkable, and it stayed with me. Clearly, it was disturbing, and so.